Imagine walking away from the most famous monarchy on earth, surrendering a crown, a palace, and a title that millions would crawl across shards of glass to touch, only to dive headfirst into the glittering, ruthless whirlpool of Hollywood. Sounds like a dream, right? Except in the case of Meghan Markle, Monetize Me Now, it quickly turned into a public spectacle of humiliation, contradictions, and unrelenting scrutiny. Hollywood didn't just reject her, it weaponized her story. They didn't whisper behind her back, they roasted her on every stage imaginable in ways so public, so scalding, that it felt less like career feedback and more like an open execution of her carefully curated image. And this isn't rumor. It isn't gossip cooked up in a blogger's basement on a laptop. No, this is a systematic demolition. One humiliating episode after another, and the world watched it all with zero remorse. You think you know the story? You haven't seen the edges of this narrative, and oh, you cannot, for the love of drama, miss number 11 because she wrote it herself. Every single word. And she didn't even realize she was the author of her own public undoing.
The wicked bitch of Montecito strikes again.
Meghan Markle's back in the news.
The BS from Meghan just never seems to stop.
Netflix is not only done with them, but Hollywood is done with them.
I have full body chills right now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I've always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it.
Uncle, make it end. Make it end.
Show up into space organically and authentically. It's the Hoda lexicon.
Meghan has nowhere else to turn after a series of stalled media ventures and scale. I can believe that. Stalled media ventures. Her ideas suck.
They've obviously haven't told you they're not actually going to give you the title of princess.
I'm not going to be a princess?
No, Meghan, it's really fine. Don't worry about it.
Duchess.
What's a duchess?
Duchess and princess are basically the same thing.
No, they are not the same. Not like at all.
Of Sussex.
What's a Sussex?
It's the place of which you'll be Duchess.
Just follow my lead, Harry. I've been on TV for years, so I'm kind of a pro. It's a really good platform to promote my brand.
What is your brand?
Lame as ever. That is the current state of Meghan Markle's brand as ever.
Ta-da!
A taste of entitlement, greed, avarice and deception.
What matters is what we have on the inside.
Hello? Jack Quaid forgot someone. Can you even fathom that? E.T. caught up with him on the red carpet, the perfect, softest, easiest question of all time. What was it like working with Meghan Markle? A softball, a gift, an opportunity to say her name, toss a compliment, move on. Simple. But no, Jack Quaid didn't just fumble. He obliterated her presence without uttering a single syllable of her name. He remembered Brie Larson, Henry Golding, Lily Collins, the director Jason Orley, the genre, the laughter on set, the joy of production, but Meghan? Silence. Nothing. The woman literally named in the question? Erased. Vanished. A glaring omission. Not a slip of the tongue. Not a memory lapse. A deliberate, calculated avoidance that stings even through the screen. That's the cruelty Hollywood doesn't advertise. When you're famous enough to matter, but not skilled enough to survive the microscope, even your co-stars become instruments of your humiliation.
We're excited to see you in your upcoming film, Close Personal Friends. What can you tease about working with Meghan Markle?
Yeah, no, it's insane. The main cast of it is myself, Brie Larson, Henry Golding, and Lily Collins, which is just an incredible group of people to be a part of. And every day we went to set and we just tried our best to make each other laugh. I thought it was going to be more of a rom-com. I'm calling it a com-rom. I think it's more comedy forward slightly, but it's about two couples. I don't know if I can say anything else, but I just had a blast making that movie. Jason Orley directed it. He made a movie called I Want You Back. That's lovely, and he crushed this. I can't wait to see it. I still haven't seen it. And no, apparently it's a lot of fun, and we had a blast making it, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
And here's the twist that makes this story deliciously tragic. This wasn't the royal family ignoring her. This wasn't some bitter enemy settling ancient scores. This was a man who shared a set with her daily. A man who observed her every quirk, every line, every movement, making a conscious choice to erase her from memory when handed the golden chance to be kind. Number 2, Jennifer Tilly, the professional poker shark who literally built a career on spotting deception before a single card is laid down, looked at Meghan's claims and raised an eyebrow so high it could scrape the sky. When a co-star casually said she hadn't watched the show before joining the cast, Jennifer's disbelief was palpable, immediate. She didn't just see it, she dissected it. A woman who allegedly had no clue who Prince Harry was, yet as a teenager flew across the Atlantic, strolled up to Buckingham Palace, and grinned for the cameras right in front of the royal family's residence. A person with zero awareness? Or someone perfectly aware orchestrating an illusion for the world? Tilly didn't buy the act. She folded her arms. She saw straight through it. That plane ticket wasn't just travel, it was proof.
The thing is with Amanda, she's coming onto the show. She's a rookie. She doesn't understand what she's coming into. And I see her, I'm not going to say stumbling around because she's a very self-assured young lady, but I see her sort of looking for common ground, like how do I behave and what language do I have in common with these ladies?
It seems like she throws out a lot of like,
missteps.
I'm trying to get bond with you and people aren't taking what she's throwing out.
I don't think she came onto the show saying, I'm going to irritate everybody on the show, you know? She's a very decent person, but it is difficult. I'm in show business. I'm a professional actress. I've been friends of Sutton's. I know these ladies. I did so much research. I always laugh when people say, because actually Amanda said, I never really watched the show. I think I watched 2 episodes. And both never watched the show either. I feel like it's a little like Meghan Markle saying she never Googled Prince Harry.
Right.
It's like...
And then comes the spectacle. Spitting Image, the legendary British satirical puppet show, doesn't just poke fun, they eviscerate. When they got their hands on the megalodon that is Meghan, they knew exactly how to press every button she handed them. Her own Netflix show became fodder. Meghan's puppet, a grotesque yet uncannily accurate reflection, dropped the mask immediately, showing the world what former employees have whispered for years. The warmth, the authenticity, the I pour my heart into everything persona, costume. Energy applied on demand, removed once the cameras are off. Taylor Swift's puppet walks in sweet and radiant. Meghan's puppet? Sharp, biting, empty. The satire isn't subtle. It doesn't whisper. It screams the truth Hollywood wants you to see. A punchline disguised as a puppet. The audience doesn't laugh because it's clever. They laugh because it resonates, because they know it's painfully true.
I adore finding new ways to show up lovingly. This week, we have one of the most famous and recognizable women in the world, meeting Taylor Swift.
Hi, Meghan. You're such a good person.
And so vulnerable. It makes me sad when people don't take the time to prepare good food for their loved ones. Today's recipe is going to take you 5 minutes.
Wow, that's twice as long as I spent on my new album.
I learned this in France. Eat, pray, love.
And if you thought animated puppets were enough, Family Guy stepped in for good measure. They didn't just roast, they filed a permanent dossier on Meghan's life. Brian and Stewie, traversing time and history, plopped her marriage into the same category as the Crusades and Hitler. That's right, a cartoon dog in a cutaway gag declared her marriage one of the worst events in recorded human history. No hyperbole, no exaggeration, just a narrative hammer striking down her self-constructed mythology. It's brutal, and still she maintains this belief that the next Hollywood moment will be different. But here's the kicker. It never will. The pattern is clear. The audience isn't naive. The world doesn't play along. Every attempt to command attention, to monopolize empathy, to rewrite history, absorbed, dissected, returned as ridicule. You think it ends here? You wish. The pretzel incident. Yes. The infamous Netflix cooking show where the grandiose culinary genius of Meghan Markle reached its pinnacle, or its nadir depending on perspective. A bag of pretzels, a ribbon, her recipe, and the world laughed not because it was clever, but because it was a brand collapsing under the weight of its own self-delusion. Megyn Kelly, the relentless media hunter, didn't just comment. She recreated the absurdity for the camera. The revelation was instant. This isn't cooking, this is performance art masquerading as domestic elegance. And Kevin O'Sullivan? 30 seconds of parody, more captivating than 8 entire episodes of Meghan's self-styled $100 million Netflix show. The pattern is undeniable. South Park took note. Trey Parker and Matt Stone didn't invent satire, they merely reflected it, showing a hollow head, empty, devoid of depth, summing up a life meticulously curated for public approval. Rebel Wilson's cameo? A punchline. Family Guy? A magnifying glass. Every move, every choice, every step away from monarchy and toward Hollywood has been observed, quantified, and returned turned as a mirror reflecting her contradictions, her hubris, her delusions. And just when you think the story has reached its zenith of absurdity, Spitting Image rises from the ashes of public spectacle and proves that no humiliation is too small, no detail too trivial to escape the radar. Meghan Markle, or should we say Meghan Mastermind Media Marl, announces her return to Hollywood after nearly a decade away, attempting to reclaim a career she left for monarchy, only to find Satire already waiting at the door. Puppets poised, scripts in hand, the mockery begins before the cameras even roll. Her own puppet auditions for iconic Hollywood roles with Harry standing awkwardly by as the spare. Every line, every gesture, every glimmer of ambition twisted into caricature by the genius of a puppet, already decades seasoned in exposing human folly. This isn't comeback, this is déjà vu wrapped in foam and googly eyes, a reminder that fame in Hollywood isn't granted, it's earned, and even then it can be weaponized against you. And then comes the sitcom, the NBC workplace comedy in a big box store called Cloud 9. Here, Meghan Markle's name is casually dropped, not as a compliment, not as an anecdote, but as shorthand for everything she failed to achieve. Hard work misrepresented as entitlement, ambition mistaken for opportunism. A character praises another for working hard, like Meghan Markle, juxtaposed with nepotism, and the truth lands like a brick. Everyone watching knows what the writers know. The fairy tale of self-made brilliance is a carefully constructed mirage. She didn't work for it. She married for it. And yet, in public, she persists in crafting a narrative of industriousness, authenticity, and purpose, only to be undercut again and again by the relentless machine of satire and parody that Hollywood operates with surgical precision. Every pretzel, every ribbon, every public appearance is a breadcrumb in a trail of contradictions. The public humiliation is methodical. South Park, the fearless juggernaut of televised satire, dedicates an entire episode to the Sussex saga. Not a single joke added, not a single line exaggerated. They don't need to. Meghan writes the script herself, in real life. Privacy claimed, media tour executed, Netflix contract signed, every detail broadcasted, memoir written, every secret exposed. A contradiction so spectacular, so audacious, that the writers only need to draw and animate her actions to reveal the farce. The world watches, jaw-dropping, laughter stifled by disbelief, as the so-called iconic figure of her generation turns herself into an open book of irony. And Hollywood doesn't stop. Rebel Wilson, Family Guy, South Park, Spitting Image, Kevin O'Sullivan, they all converge into a perfect storm of public ridicule, hammering every facet of her persona, every choice she's made, and every claim she's asserted about herself. From co-stars forgetting her existence to poker champions calling bluffs, the pattern is unmissable. Meghan Markle is both orchestrator and victim of her own narrative. Every carefully crafted image, graceful, authentic, pioneering, is relentlessly deconstructed, leaving a figure simultaneously larger than life and embarrassingly hollow. Each joke, each parody, each punchline isn't just entertainment, it's evidence. Evidence of a life lived in contradiction, of a brand built on perception rather than substance, of a reality that refuses to conform to the story she tells. And here's where it gets almost poetic in its cruelty. Every attempt at elevation, every public display, every claim to significance becomes fodder for the very industry she craved. That Netflix cooking show, bag of pretzels, ribbon applied with self-importance, dissected by Megyn Kelly on national television for what it truly was, a performance of delusion. Her return to Hollywood? Puppets auditioning in her place, parodies predicting every overreaching claim. Family Guy? Peter Griffin, laziness incarnate, using Meghan and Harry as a benchmark for doing it alone. A comedic verdict more damning than any review could ever be. And the contradictions pile up faster than tabloids on a Monday morning. Privacy claimed, media tour executed. Authenticity professed, televised memoir delivered, self-made declared, royalty married. Each episode of Mockery is not merely laughter at someone else's expense, it's a meticulous excavation of truth from the glittering facade of celebrity and monarchy combined. And the climax? South Park's full-scale expose, a hollow skull metaphor, a simple visual summation of a life where appearance endlessly contradicts reality. And still, even after 13 spectacularly humiliating episodes, co-stars forgetting her, poker pros reading her lies, cartoon dogs judging her marriage, puppets auditioning on her behalf, she persists, convinced the next Hollywood moment will be hers. But here's the lingering tension, the hook that refuses to release its grip. The story is far from over. Every roast, every parody, every public mockery is only a chapter. Hollywood and satire have turned the narrative into a living, breathing organism evolving faster than any PR team could contain. Meghan Markle's saga is now a cautionary tale in real time, a narrative of contradictions exposed with surgical precision, with no sign of slowing. The crown is gone, the palace is behind her, but Hollywood and the world at large continue to watch, waiting for the next move. And if you think you've seen the worst, the next punchline, the next parody is already lurking, ready to transform ambition into absurdity once more. The saga isn't finished, the contradictions aren't reconciled, and Hollywood, merciless, is keeping the receipts one scathing joke at a time. Because here's the unshakable truth, Meghan Markle's life is now a goldmine of public spectacle, a theater where every choice, every gesture, every claim to authenticity becomes fodder for satire, parody, and humiliation. And the world, insatiable, continues to watch. And we wait. What will happen next? Will Hollywood finally grant her the redemption she seeks? Or will she remain trapped, eternally the punchline of her own story? That, my friends, is the story still unfolding.